Welcome to WEFTEC Now. I'm Travis Loop with the Water Environment Federation, joined by Rhea, Sales Manager for Flottweg. How are you doing? How's WEFTEC going?
Doing great. Great start so far. Really having a good time.
Good. I'm really looking forward to learning a little bit here. You've got some information, some knowledge to share with me. And we're going to dive right into it here. Okay. Separation. This is one of your focus areas. What is separation?
Well, it's just like the word says. The idea is that we're specifically in wastewater, you've got water and you've got the waste system in it. So what we have to do is treat that, and we remove those solids through separation. So there's a couple of different ways you can do it. You can use filtration, you can use settling, you can use centrifugal force. And the idea is, you think of a clarifier. You take a glass of water, set it to the side, and solids will settle out. That takes a really long time. When you do a centrifuge, you take the same concept, you wrap it around an axis, and then you spin it really fast. And the end result is that it takes a lot less time and a lot less space to get the same result.
Okay, so this is separating the liquids and the solids essentially.
That's exactly right.
And you're using that centrifuge to speed up the process.
Exactly. We use gravity, natural forces to get that separation done.
Yeah, and so how long? What time frame are we talking about then? If you're using a centrifuge, how long does it take to?
So it's all part of the wastewater process,
so
but
it's
we're
ongoing.
Oh yeah, we're at the back end, but it is a continuous process. So the machine runs, in most cases, it might run 24/7.
Okay.
Some plants will run 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, but it all fits within their operating cycle, to be optimized for their uses.
Okay, and so you could use a centrifuge or a bell press?
Yeah, there's several different technologies. There's belt filter presses, there's screw presses, and there's centrifuges. And again, it's a little different in the technology, meaning that if you use filtration, you're using a media that it's going to filter through, whereas if you use a centrifuge, you're just using Earth's gravity to create that separation. Okay. So there's and again, different customers have different needs, but in general, the centrifuge is going to give you the best dry solids, usually several points drier than a belt press or screw press. And a lot of people might wonder, well, why does that matter?
Yeah.
And it really comes down to, by doing that, you can reduce the overall volume of your biosolids. That's going to be less expensive to haul it away, or if you're going to dry it or pelletize it, then you've got a smaller footprint for the downstream equipment.
And it's smaller because you're just really getting more of the water out of it.
You're getting more water out.
Yeah.
So, and that helps, from a sustainability standpoint, because by making it more efficient in that step, it helps everything else downstream.
Okay, and what are your the municipal customers really looking for in separation? What are their priorities?
Well, namely, it's cake solids. They want them to be as dry as possible so that they can reduce their hauling cost. The other thing is polymer consumption. So you use a chemical additive to get better clarity of the water, because ultimately that's what we're trying to do, is get clean water. So polymer demand is another important aspect. And then there's, of course, energy. And a lot of people think centrifuges, they run really fast and they use a lot of energy. But when you look at that savings that it gives you from a dry solids and polymer consumption over the long haul, it is actually a more energy efficient design.
So you get a big offset there.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, interesting. Have there been any changes or trends in what customers are looking for? Are they starting to want more of certain type of?
Oh, for sure. I mean, everyone is always looking to get better performance at a lower cost and less energy consumption, and that's been our goal. And so we're premiering. Actually, last year we premiered it. We're showcasing the Accelerator this year, which is it's what we call a super deep pond. And without getting into the weeds, it's basically a more energy efficient design. And it also helps in terms of polymer demand. So it reduces those needs by usually about 20%. So we're driving down the need or the demand on energy and polymer to make it a faster payback for the customer.
Yeah, and so that financial impact of the different approaches to separation, like you said, could you go into that a little bit more and talk about it?
Well, obviously, if you can get the material drier, then there's less water in it. Now, if you have to haul that, let's say if you have to drive 50 miles, and now you're hauling material that's wet.
Water's heavy.
Yeah, you're driving and carrying a lot of water, that if you can make it drier, that's going to be less trips. Or you can carry more per trip, and that's going to make it a more efficient process for the customer. Likewise, if they're going to dry or incinerate their biosolids at the end, if you can make it drier in the mechanical step, then it makes that step more efficient and a smaller footprint, which is also a smaller cost.
Are there benefits on the other side of having more water to send through? If they're getting it out of or that doesn't really matter?
On occasion. I mean, like I said, there are some customers that don't necessarily have a high demand for really dry cake, but in most cases, the drier the better.
Yeah, interesting. I'm curious about what other industries, might use this or, your technology.
Well, it's really simple. Anywhere that uses water is probably going to have a separation step. So whether it's mining, chemical, beer, like you were talking about, we actually use our machines for beer clarification before it goes into the bottles.
Really?
Yeah, so it's really important that you want a nice, crisp, clean beer, or apple cider is the same way. You think of cider versus juice. It's nice, that nice, clear liquid, it went through a centrifuge.
Okay, and how does it benefit you all to work in these different industries? What's the benefit to you as you develop your products or your technology? And
well, it really helps from the standpoint of it levels out the peaks and valleys in terms of there are always some industries that are more influenced by the economy. The nice thing about wastewater is it's really not affected by the market and so forth. But overall, it helps us to drive where maybe we're doing work in a chemical plant or at a distillery, and we can learn new techniques, new innovations, and then we can adapt that we can use throughout the marketplace. And exactly what we did with the accelerator. It was developed for municipal, but we're going to start utilizing that in just about every other industry too. If it works in one place, it usually works in another.
Sure. There's been a lot of changes with technology just developing and all that, and I'm wondering if how those changes in technology, how all the innovations in engineering is reflected in your equipment.
Well, Flottweg's been in business for over 100 years. We've been building centrifuges for 60 years, and we've tried to be on the cutting edge of innovating. Whether it's drive design, energy reducing components, or just overall improving the performance of the equipment. And from that standpoint, it's the market depends on us to try to innovate, and we depend on the market to succeed.
Yeah, digital is becoming so much more and more involved in everything we're doing, especially in the water in the water sector. Is that factoring into your equipment?
Oh yeah, nowadays remote access, being able to monitor the equipment from being off-site, being able to, there's even talk of 3D printing of different components. Everyone thinks that 3D printing is plastic toys, things like that, but you can actually 3D print metal.
That's amazing to me.
So there's the new technology, the digital world is coming into our world too.
Yeah. Is it challenging with how rapidly it all changes and what the opportunities are, 3D printing and all that? Is it challenging to kind of keep up with those opportunities and trends?
It is, but it's fun. I mean, that's what makes the business we're in so much fun. Is
Sure.
that if it was all the same and easy, I don't think it would be nearly as fun.
Rob, if you pull out your crystal ball, what do you think could be coming next in the evolution of separation?
It's hard to say. I think the demands are to try to make things as energy efficient as possible. Again, sustainability is a hot button that a lot of people want to think about, and so I think trying to be more focused on what our customers need and finding solutions for them. So be it energy consumption or just overall better performance and better service and support, to our customers is what we're trying to do.
Sure. Well, I appreciate you giving me some education here on separation.
My pleasure.
Yeah, great information. Thank you all for watching. If you see more interviews, please go to weftec.org/now.